Hello, everybody. It's Nick and Marty for the Rational Webcast. What is the date we're doing this for? The 2nd of November. I thought we should really start putting a date on this to date it.
That's fair enough, I suppose.
Today we're talking about Halo 5 and how it dropped this week, among other things going on with that game, like weirdness basically. Batman, Arkham Knight being back on Steam and not really standing up to, well, what it should be. With The Witcher 3 just winning everything. And, well, Sony Paris Games Week is underway, so how's everything going then, Marty?
Yeah, not too bad. Today I spent some of the day with my nephew. We were meant to be having a Star Wars day. Turned out that he didn't like Star Wars, so we just played Mario Kart.
How can you not like Star Wars at all?
I don't know. To be fair to him, we did try by watching Episode 1, which is probably my fault,
that
but I
was
thought
a
he might like
mistake.
it. He's 6, so I thought he might like it,
I made that
especially with
mistake.
Jar Jar Binks and everything.
Nobody likes Jar Jar Binks, not even 6-year-olds.
Whoa, my sister likes Jar Jar Binks.
Oh.
I'm not saying she's right, but she does.
Let us know in the comments. Who of you likes Jar Jar Binks? Just
Yeah.
tumbleweed.
Please don't dislike the video. Like the video if you hate Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah.
There we go. That'll guarantee us a few clicks. How about yourself? How are you getting on today?
I am not too bad. I'm not sick anymore. Basically,
Yay!
I
Good to hear.
had quite a rough week last week.
Yeah,
And
phlegm everywhere.
Yeah. Anyway, Halo
Coolio.
5. You can.
Yeah, I mean,
You're bigger on Halo than I am. I don't really give any shit. So you just go ahead and blab about that.
yeah. The thing I'm going to talk about this week is with Halo 5 is the fact that it doesn't have split-screen multiplayer. Now, Halo grew up kind of in the era when first-person shooters weren't massive, but they were played, and they were played a lot, and they were played on a couch. So couch multiplayer was massive for the Halo series, and it's always been massive with the Halo series. Bungie really did their homework and made something that was absolutely gorgeous when it came to single-screen multiplayer.
You saying
Now, for some reason, with Halo 5, 343 Industries decided that they really wanted 60 frames per second and 1080p where possible. Now, 1080p was basically out the window when they actually saw the Xbox One and realised that it wasn't powerful enough to do that, but still, they kept the 60 frames per second. And in doing so, sacrificed split-screen multiplayer.
See, that seems kind of stupid. I mean, I think we might discuss this before. How they could just have, 30, if you chose to have split screen with 30 frames a second per side, and
Yep.
maintain the split screen. I mean, if that's a choice you want to make in the single player game, if you want to play online or something, then 60 frames all the way. But it does seem like split screen has been dying out for the longest time, and maybe for all its faults, Halo was one of the last bastions of the old school split screen, which is a real shame because there are still a hell of a lot of people who want to, like you say, sit on the couch and, game. Good old fashioned gaming.
Yeah, definitely, and I think that Halo represented one of those few games that people could still do that with, and I genuinely hope that sales have gone down for Halo 5 purely for that reason, that people realise that they can't play the split-screen multiplayer, they will not purchase it, and they will basically vote with their wallets.
In this day and age, though, even the final product is not final, so hopefully, if people do vote with their wallets, then 343 will end up patching in some kind of local split screen to accommodate those people who still like to do that, and maybe it will drive up the demand for it in the future.
Yeah, I mean, it is as
Hopefully.
much as I'd like to give people that hope that 343 might actually add that in. Unfortunately, that almost certainly won't be the case. People have done a little bit of research into it, and the physics engine is attached to the fact that it's 60 frames per second. So in order to get it down
Really?
to 30 frames per second, they would have to overhaul the physics engine, which I'm pretty sure they're not going to do.
That's ridiculous, and I thought they'd stop doing that. That is not what you do. You do not tie your frame rate into the game engine itself, because what's the game? I think it might be a Need for Speed game or some other kind of racing game did that, and you could actually change the speed. Yeah, if you tried to change the frame rate, the game itself would speed up or slow down related to the frame rate.
Yeah.
And that's kind of ridiculous. That just puts an anchor on doing any kind of altering like that. I mean, they've kind of shot themselves in the foot there.
Yeah, I mean,
what the hell were they thinking?
I guess because this game is specifically for Xbox One for consoles, it doesn't actually matter that tinkering can't be done.
But
in the same way that it would for a PC game.
But even so, that's like that seems like a poor decision, and this isn't their first rodeo.
Mm-hmm.
You would think that was one of the things. I mean, if they have to do anything in the future to do with changing the game in any way, that puts the brakes on it for any number of reasons. I don't know. That just doesn't make sense to me. Why would you ever want to do that?
It's a bit ridiculous. But have you heard about how they've got around some of the limitations of the console, in that they have an adaptive resolution? Yeah, at any point in the game, the resolution may change.
Yeah, if it starts
quite
to
drastically.
chug, then you can automatically down the resolution. But that on one side, that's kind of innovative and interesting. On the other hand, well, it's actually 3 points. It's interesting and maybe quite innovative. On the other hand, it is really weird. I mean, you've got this console, and they build to the console, so by rights you shouldn't have such a decrease in like quality or frame rate that would force you to change the resolution in itself. It should be set so it works at the resolution they've built it for. And 3, in my opinion, that would actually affect the gameplay. Because imagine if you're, I don't know, lining up your sights or something, about to take your shot, and then for some reason, I don't know, I don't know how the Xbox works properly, maybe something's happening in the background, your performance drops, so it downs the resolution, you take your shot, completely misses because the resolution suddenly changed, or something's got in the way on the HUD, because when you down the resolution, the HUD gets larger. Or in that's my experience that's my experience anyway.
Yeah,
I might just be rambling.
There would be issues like that, but there could be, I suppose. But I think the issue was they set themselves this artificial limit of a 60 frames per second game, and the game, with it being a Halo game, needed to have a certain degree of action for it to still be viable as a Halo part of the Halo franchise.
Basically, they've set themselves a target which they're not entirely sure they can achieve, and now they're trying to find ways around it.
Exactly. Yeah. So they had to do what might be considered daft things in order to hit that target, and I think it kind of seems manifests itself there in a poorer product.
It seems a somewhat bad game design in the first instance, the fact that they were trying to do that in the first place. I mean, if you are trying to get a good game, I know they're trying to say, like, oh yeah, the Xbox One it's full HD, it's 1080p, 60 frames a second. But at the end of the day, you don't compromise gameplay for looks, display, graphics.
Mm-hmm.
If the graphics have to be dropped down for the gameplay to be better, smoother, more enjoyable, then yeah, fair enough. I mean, there's any number of games that are just pixelated 2D scrollers or something, but the gameplay itself is perfect, and they end up more popular than the Halo franchise sometimes.
Whoa.
I don't know. I don't think Halo is as popular as you believe it to be, or as at least as much as it used to be.
Yeah, I think it's one of those games that still holds a special place in certain people's hearts.
But even Halo lost a lot of people when Bungie stopped developing for it. For a lot of people, that would be the end of Halo for them.
Yeah, I think that would be pretty reasonable. Halo 4 was a very different game. It was enjoyable in some respects, but it was a very different game to Halo 3. And for me, Halo Reach, which I would suggest is the best Halo game, which a lot of people would argue against.
I lost track with the Halos. I mean, I'm not a Halo fan, but even I lost track with the Halos. After you've got Halo 1, 2, 3, ODST, Reach, plus all the extended universe stuff, it gets kind of ridiculous. And the fact that the idea was ripped off in the first instance.
What? Ripped off? It's a first-person shooter game.
No, the idea of the Halo.
Oh, okay.
Larry Niven, Ringworld?
Pardon? What?
Larry Niven, Ringworld is a book.
That sounds like some form of parasite. So
It's not. It's a book called Ringworld.
it sounds like a parasite
It's
that
basic.
your cat gets.
It is. You've heard of the concept of a Dyson sphere, yeah?
I've heard of a Dyson Hoover.
Okay, a Dyson sphere is basically a huge sphere that encompasses a star in order to capture all of its solar radiation.
That sounds ridiculous.
It is, but this is theorized for a stupidly technologically advanced race. Anyway, Ringworld takes that idea and imagines, well, what if it was just a section of it, a ring around the middle of the sphere taken out, and just have that spinning around the star. And on its surface, they put land masses, oceans, all stuff like that for people to live on. I know in Halo, the Halos are much, 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 much smaller, but that's still the basic idea. That's where it come from.
Okay.
Read
Halo
some books,
was originally
dude.
an RTS.
What?
Halo was originally an RTS.
I'm just saying the idea of the Halo
Right up
itself.
until Steve Jobs took over. Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs originally wanted Halo.
Yeah,
He had Halo, in fact.
it was
It
was originally an Apple thing,
Yeah.
and then Microsoft bought it.
Cool. Anyway,
I want to
let's
talk
leave
about
it
books
there.
some more.
you carry on talking about Hoovers in your own spare time.
Hello, Hoover.
And we will talk about Batman.
I'm Batman.
You're never Batman.
Batman.
Batman is on PC. Yay!
Batman Arkham Knight is back on PC. We should clarify.
Yeah, I didn't want to, but yeah, so that's back.
And it's still shit.
Yeah, it's almost as though they've done next to nothing.
I mean, what the? Recommended specs is 12 gigs of RAM with Windows 10. What the? What? The game doesn't even. The game doesn't even look. Well, it looks nice, but not that much. Where the recommended specs are that high.
I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous when you consider that you've got to have a Core i7, a ridiculously powerful graphics card, something like a 970.
I don't even think a 970 would cut it.
Pardon, sorry?
Don't even think a 970 would cut it to get the full end.
Yeah, I mean, probably. I mean, I'm not necessarily talking. This isn't even the highest end. That's
well, no,
what I'm trying to say is that this is just to get it
it
somewhere near on par with the PlayStation 4 version.
There you go. A 2 gig card is crippled when settings are pushed.
Exactly, and this is, as I say, just to get it on par with the PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
That's a farce.
I mean,
PlayStation 4 is nowhere near as powerful as that.
I mean, a 2 gig card for the master race people among us. Yeah, you might say, "Oh, 2 gig card. Oh, it's not that great." But a 2 gig card is actually pretty damn powerful when you compare it to your average stock cards. It's compared to a stock card, It is ridiculously powerful. I mean, I've actually got a 2 gig Radeon 7850, I think it is, that I used to have in my old PC, and it run beautifully. It was really good. The only reason I upgraded was because I built my new computer, and I just wanted to up the game a lot. But still, it's completely reasonable to want good graphics, good enough graphics from a 2 gig card. And if you can barely run it on that, then there's no point in having it at all.
Yeah, I mean that's the point. Is that those people out there that they may not be the highest end of gamer. They may just be the middle end. The middle should still be able to play the majority of games. And
The middle end.
They might maybe not at the highest settings.
No, but the middle end
should it to be the highest settings.
be
But they
able
should still be able to play it.
Okay, here we go. I've just looked up the PC specs for Fallout 4. Now, Fallout 4 looks beautiful. It looks really nice. 8 gigs of RAM recommended, and that's recommended. Generally, on a game, a new game like this, the minimum spec should be about 4 gig. I mean, you can't buy a PC without at least 4 gigs in it now.
Yeah, which is perfectly reasonable.
Well, exactly, yeah. And just to have, I think the biggest problem is, what the hell have they been doing? Batman Arkham Knight was off PC for a good few months, and it comes back, and there's maybe some of the maybe it doesn't crash now, but it's still not an acceptable port.
No, not at all. Not at all. It's one of the poorest optimized games I have seen in a very long time.
Which is really stupid. I mean, Rocksteady supposedly know what they're doing. I mean, the ports for Arkham Asylum and Arkham City weren't great, but they weren't ridiculously poor. I mean, I leave Arkham Origins out of that because that was developed by someone else. But I don't know. I just don't know what they're playing at. It's like, why even take it off and say you're going to do something with it when it's just going to come back still not great? I mean, yeah, maybe you can't get it perfect, but you at least need something. It's like they took it off and it's like, oh, well, we don't really care. We'll just say we've done some stuff and put it back on and hope nobody notices. People notice!
Yeah, absolutely. It feels like they just absolutely don't care, to be perfectly honest.
I mean, I've seen on a GTX 980 still sees noticeable stuttering beneath 60 FPS. I know that I was like, oh, it's beneath 60 FPS, it's still above 30, it's playable. Yeah, it's playable, but you don't pay that much for a freaking 980. I mean, that's like, until very recently, it was like the second best card on the market. Until the Titan X came out, it was the best card on the market. If you pay that much for that, you want perfection.
Yeah.
You've paid for that. I mean, going up from a 970 to a 980, it is double the price. I mean, you are paying for that extra step.
I mean, you're paying about £250. Is that reasonable?
More than that, God, more than that.
Yeah,
I paid £200 for my 970, and I got it cheap. A 970 generally goes for about £300. 980 goes. I've seen it going for up to. It depends which brand it is, but I've seen them go for up to £500. Because I think
so you're paying £500 to play a game.
Yeah,
and that's not. That's one element of the PC that you'd need to build in order to play this game, as well as you can play on a £250 console.
Yeah, so
How's
maybe
that right?
maybe
How's that
this
reasonable?
Maybe this is some covert shit going on where it's like, oh yeah, whatever we do, we can't get it good enough for PC. Buy it on console, get a new console. Maybe they've been paid off by Sony or Microsoft or something. I don't know. I know that's some conspiracy shit there, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that you see the Illuminati whenever you see any form of triangle, but I don't think that's the case here.
No, just to clarify, I don't think that's actually the case, but
this is some of his PC master race paranoia.
It will. I think this will drive people to the consoles more.
No, I think it will just drive people away from Warner Brothers, and I hope so. They're one of the worst game developers out there at the moment.
Maybe, yeah. Well, for PC at least.
No, I mean just with the contempt that they treat their customers with. They're one of those few developers that shows off DLC before they show off the game. It's just a farce.
See, that winds me up, that does. I mean, it's like, oh yeah, the game's coming out, but look at this special DLC we've got for it. I mean, it's not made by Warner Brothers, but Evolve was one of the worst for that.
Mm-hmm.
You remember when that came out,
absolutely.
and they were like, oh, look at all this DLC you can get. Even if you get the season pass for it, you're not going to get all the DLC. Yeah, they had like 2 season passes, and it was one or the other, or both, but they were as much as each other, and that's kind of... and who even plays Evolve now?
Yeah, and I feel sad as well, because I was looking forward to Evolve.
Yeah,
I thought it sounded like a decent idea.
Yeah.
I still think it sounds like a decent idea. I'm just unwilling to pay for that.
It's one of those things, isn't it? God, maybe wait until the Ultimate Edition comes out, the inevitable Ultimate Edition, where they just pile everything in when they finally finish releasing DLC for it.
I mean, but they were ridiculous in the actual when they were talking about that game, in that they were showing off the fact that it was made for DLC.
Yeah.
They spouted that nonsense with pride. This game is built from the ground up for DLC.
It seems like
an idiot.
It seems like it's the new, the emerging kind of. I can't think of the word. You know, like MMOs used to be, where you pay a subscription fee every month. It's the new rebirth of subscription, basically. You pay, you can get the game for a fixed price or something, or it may be free. You pay whatever, but then you can pay whatever you want to get more stuff, get the different things, and in some of that time, it's pay to win, which is long. We say it all together. Pay to win is long. I mean, if they want to release like hats, like, you know, in Team Fortress 2 or whatever, that's fair enough. So long as it doesn't change how the game plays. But I'm pretty sure some of this stuff in Evolve was changing how the game played. You know, you're getting access to better characters, better monsters, stuff like that.
Yeah, you certainly did get access to more of those things. I should also state that as something else I noticed that bugged me this last week, Disney Infinity on Steam it is classed as free to play, but in order to play anything genuine on there, you have to buy the additional DLCs, which in total add up to about £500. But I just the cheek of
this is free
Disney
to play
Infinity on there.
No, maybe
3.0.
Maybe
free
it's
to play.
Free to own.
Yeah, that's probably a better way to put it. I mean, it's just, and the fact that that's aimed at children.
Yeah,
and the fact that it fucking well says play without limits.
That's just blatantly lying. But
yeah.
they're trying. This is what the toy industry has been doing for years, appealing to the kids. Like, look, get this. Tell your parents you want this, and this. Get them to give us all your money, because there's no more persuasive person than your own child. I assume.
Yeah, it's almost certainly true.
I just assume you wouldn't want to make your child unhappy, and if they've been convinced by some company that they want this particular character in Disney Infinity or whatever, then they're not going to stop until they get it.
But I also want to just point out that it also says in user reviews they're down as being mostly negative. So at least other people are cottoning onto this shit.
Yeah, but again, it's aimed at children who don't necessarily know about, let alone read reviews.
And Darth Vader's ripped.
Darth Vader's ripped. What?
Yeah, upper body. He's massive for some reason in this.
I'm looking
He's got
at that.
largest. He's got a larger bicep than he has head, and that's including the mask. Yeah, I mean, check it out.
Fucking
absolute
incredible.
Bullshit.
What's good? I'm sorry. I think this is Darth Vader as played by Arnold Schwarzenegger circa 1985 or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Or whenever Schwarzenegger was in his heyday, you know, like in Commando and stuff, you know. I will kill you.
Yeah, it certainly feels like it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Stupid thing. Anyway, let's give up on that and talk about the golden joysticks.
We talking about your penis again?
Well, I'm glad that you'd think of me in that way, but
silence.
But no, I wasn't. So yeah, it was the golden joysticks this last week, and as much as I don't know, to an extent they're bullshit. At the same time, they're classed as being the only awards that are voted by the public. So I thought we may as well talk about them, since some people voted for them. I didn't. Did you?
No, I didn't even know they were on. To be fair.
There we go.
I've been out of the loop
if we go
a bit
through
this
a
week.
few, I mean, the biggest winner in there by a country mile is The Witcher.
That's kind of fair because The Witcher is, by all accounts, outstanding. Apparently, they've completely done a number on The Witcher 3. I never got around to playing The Witcher 1 and 2, so to play The Witcher 3 for me would be stupid.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's meant to be a good starting off point still.
Yeah, but I still like to get in and know the character. I like to pick up all the Easter eggs because apparently a bunch of Easter eggs through the past few games, and I like to be able to acknowledge that. I like to start at the beginning of a series and play through it all. But I've heard that The Witcher, especially the first one, is just so impenetrably deep in its interface and everything that it would take a month to just get your head around it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, apparently The Witcher 3 has gone ahead and streamlined all that while keeping the depth of story and everything. It's basically they've done better than BioWare. Really?
Yeah, to be fair as well, I think The Witcher 2 was meant to have been streamlined quite a bit because that was also made for console.
Yeah, but I think it's been a progression thing. Witcher 2 was somewhat more, and The Witcher 3's kind of hit the mark in, people are like, oh yeah, fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But it's won Best Storytelling, Best Visual Design, Best Gaming Moment as the Bloody Baron Quest, blah, 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 I'm looking for the other one, and Ultimate Game of the Year. Ultimate Game of the Year.
Yeah, and the creators won Studio of the Year as well, CD Projekt
did they?
Red.
Nice.
Yeah, exactly. They really did. Really did a number on that one. Did well.
Yeah, so well done to Project Red.
Yeah, they
CD
deserve
Projekt
it.
Red even. Yeah, they kind of do deserve it because they started off as relatively unheard of. And they've
absolutely. Who's heard of a Polish developer anyway?
Yeah, and they've really come up and brought their A game with The Witcher 3. So well done to them. We really look forward to seeing what they've got next. They could become the next big thing like BioWare and Bethesda and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Bethesda, Most Wanted Game, Fallout 4. I don't think anybody was surprised by that.
Yep, and best mobile game, Fallout Shelter. Yeah.
It was good. I actually played it. I really enjoyed it.
I played it, I just didn't get into it.
I got to about 120 Vault Dwellers, but then I stopped playing it. I got
to about 10 Vault Dwellers.
I think that was the biggest problem with the game. Its longevity was limited, to say the least, because eventually once you unlocked all the rooms, you didn't get anything more, not really. Well, not to my knowledge, I haven't played it for a little while. And also, I just wanted to get to 111 Vault Dwellers to see if anything special happened. It does not.
Yeah, fair enough. Can I just point out one that I don't agree with? Other than gaming personality, PewDiePie couldn't give a shit about the guy.
I don't know
why I wasn't on there.
That's because nobody knew about you until like a month ago or something.
I'm pretty sure nobody knows about me anyway. But also, innovation of the year. First-person mode in GTA 5. Is that really the biggest innovation this year?
No.
No, it absolutely isn't.
It's literally just kind of maybe it's just because it's never had it before.
Yeah, but it doesn't strike me as being the biggest innovation that we've had.
To be fair, it doesn't.
In this last year,
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what actually qualifies all these like how they're voted for. Basically, it says they're voted for by us, basically the gamers.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe
but
that's
we're still
just because
given a list of things to vote for.
Yeah, maybe that's just because GTA 5 was so very popular and everybody kind of lost their shit when they introduced first-person mode. Although I am very happy to see the best indie game. That's brilliant. It's Kerbal Space Program. For anybody who's not got Kerbal Space Program and is in any way interested in space, you need to get this game. It's relatively accurate as much as a game can get. It's fun, it's expansive, and funny as hell. I mean, the little faces of the Kerbals as you're blasting off is just fantastic. Have you played Kerbal Space then? So?
No, not
Play it. It's brilliant.
Oh, I'm glad to see best family game Splatoon. Splatoon was bloody brilliant. Third-person shooter with some real innovation in it. Came up with some great ideas and showed that Nintendo can make a first-person an online shooter their own way.
To be fair, I think it's funny how Nintendo have got their own section, best Nintendo game.
Oh no, all of the creators have best Nintendo game, best PlayStation game, best Xbox game.
No.
They've all got one.
No, the fact that it's PlayStation, Xbox, PC, but Nintendo is still a developer. Technically, that's a developer getting their best thing.
But they're also platform.
Yeah, but no. If it was a platform, you should say best Wii U title.
But it in the same way that it could say best PlayStation 4 game.
Yeah, but PlayStation is not a developer. Nintendo is a developer, so it's misleading in the fact that it says best Nintendo game. You would think, oh, it's only limited to Nintendo games, as opposed to if it said best like Wii U game, then you're open for third-party developers. Do you see my point? I
do, but I don't think it's a very good one.
It's just a point.
I kind of want to point out as well, Lifetime Achievement Award to Satoru Iwata. Great that they kind of acknowledged him, obviously with him having died this year.
Yeah.
And he did some great things for the industry.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, made some very positive changes in the industry, and I think he should be acknowledged for that. And it's just a bit of a shame that it wasn't done sooner. Yeah.
Well, at least it is done. I mean, that's kind of a posthumous thing. A few more to cover. Best gaming platform. Are we really surprised at this in any way, shape, or form? It's Steam. Of course it is.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised about it.
Why?
I don't know. I just kind of assumed that would go to a console.
But Steam,
because it's voted for by public.
But Steam's got the biggest library. I mean, it's none of the new consoles are backwards compatible yet, at least. Steam has a library from the ages on it. Plus, they're going ahead with all the Steam machines, so it is basically becoming a console, and they're just doing everything right. So, I think that's fair enough.
Oh, I think it's fair. I just didn't expect it. That was all.
I'm not surprised.
Whatever.
Best original game. I have a problem with that. It's not exactly original.
Where
Bloodborne.
is that? Best original? Oh, Bloodborne.
Yeah.
Why is that not original? I mean, it kind of
Because
is.
it's basically Dark Souls.
I mean, it is, but
It's Dead
it is
Souls,
original
Dark
still.
Souls, Dark Souls 2, and then Bloodborne.
Yeah. I mean, it's really, isn't it? Like Demon Souls, Dark Souls, and then Bloodborne.
That's it,
Because
sorry.
Dark Souls 2 was done by a different developer.
Was it?
I think so.
I know, I've only
think
played a
it
bit
might
of
have done.
Dark Souls 1, and I got my head kicked in by a giant prison monster thing. I don't know what was happening. I killed a
never
guy
played
who
any
was
of them.
dying. What?
I've never played any of them. I did watch a playthrough of Bloodborne though, and it looked absolutely fantastic.
To
So
be
I do
fair,
want to play it.
to be fair, Bloodborne does look better than my experience with Dark Souls.
Hmm.
It just looks a bit faster paced. I didn't like the fact that it was quite slow and clunky moving around in Dark Souls.
Hmm.
But maybe that's me. I hear it's once you get into it, ridiculously good.
Fair enough. Anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about Sony.
Yes. Sony. Oh, it's always good to talk about Sony.
It kind of is.
I don't know
They're
whether I
alright.
was being sarcastic there or not.
Yeah. Sony this week had their Paris Games Week, which, to be fair, is only really a small thing in Sony's calendar in comparison to some of their other main events, like
there's some
E3, and I think they've got another Sony thing coming up soon.
Some interesting
But they
stuff
showed
coming
off
after
a
that.
heck of a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
and some fantastic looking stuff as well. I mean, have you seen much of it?
I'm interested in Boundless.
Boundless looks so impressive. I
I
have
mean,
no idea what's going on.
But I do find
Wow.
it a little bit strange, because it's basically like No Man's Sky in its concept.
Is it? I mean, I
Kind
don't
of.
understand what the actual game of it is yet.
Well, it looks much like just like the world is open to you, go do things.
Hmm.
And in that respect, it looks similar to No Man's Sky. So I think we need more information on it, but it is definitely intriguing.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'd probably point it to be more akin to Minecraft in some ways. Certainly, it's got a blocky world, which is definitely
then-
Minecraft-ish.
Then again, Minecraft is of that kind of genre, really.
Yeah, I mean,
You
it
get
kind
to
of
choose
the
whatever the hell you're
open
doing.
world and whatever. But I like the idea that to get into different worlds is just literally walking through a door. That seemed really interesting to me, especially if it's massively multiplayer. Then it could get very interesting. And could possibly aim at that kind of kids market that Sony's struggling to reach at the moment.
Yeah, they did go quite hardcore gamer, didn't they? Rather than the easygoing, kid-friendly stuff.
Yeah, which has always been Sony's way, to be fair to them.
Yeah.
Although saying that, Ratchet and Clank and whatever, I don't know, maybe.
I mean, I think it started mainly with the PS2 did a pretty good job of covering all bases, but the PS3 really went hardcore kind of tech. I mean, one of its release titles was Resistance, fantastic game, but not in any way kid friendly.
Yeah, especially, I mean, the price point wasn't exactly kid friendly of the PlayStation 3.
True.
Bloody hell, was it £500?
Yeah, it's ridiculously expensive.
That was craziness. Let's have a look at some other stuff. So we've got something like Drive Club Bikes. If there was ever anything that people really didn't care about, it was an add-on for Drive Club.
I don't even know what Drive Club is, let alone.
Ugh.
I heard of it, but don't really care.
Yeah, I mean, I've got it because there was kind of a PlayStation Plus version at one point.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'm not a big fan of these technical driving games anyway. But I don't know. It's pretty. I can say that much. It's pretty.
I'll tell you what's pretty. Robinson the Journey.
Ooh, yes. Yes. Dinosaurs,
Yeah.
give me more.
Yeah. Crytek with VR and dinosaurs. Sold! I am sold! You take all the money. It's cool, you know. They should just make Jurassic World 2 should be this in VR. Done.
Yeah, and the fact that they've got a floating British robot, it seems like a good idea. I'm definitely up for that.
Well, to be fair, like you say, they're a relatively small event in their calendar, but did have a fair amount of stuff going on.
Did you see anything out of Horizon Zero Dawn?
I saw a bit of that, but not too much, no.
Oh, they showed off kind of a gameplay demo of it.
Looks
Because
interesting.
it's one of those weird things that it's set in the future in which kind of robots have taken on their own forms and almost become more naturalistic, become animals in their own way.
Yeah.
And humans have reverted back to kind of cave dwellers with bows and arrows, but yet there's this weird mixture of there being high technology around the place.
In a way, it kind of looks like... I'm not saying it is, but A Journey to the West, is it? What was the game called?
I don't know. You talked about the one with Monkey in it?
Yes.
Okay. Enslaved.
That's it, Enslaved, Journey to the West. Because it was like, civilization had fallen, and yeah, the robots hadn't taken on like animalistic forms or anything, but they were roaming this world that had been destroyed, and people had taken on more kind of like more primitive aspects. And I don't know. It's kind of it looks pretty, but
and it's open world from Guerrilla Games. Guerrilla Games having made the Killzone franchise. Killzone was good, but
I never played it.
I'm really looking forward to this. This seems like an absolutely fantastic
Killzone 1 was
direction for them to go in.
stupidly hard, and I didn't bother with the rest.
Did you ever try the Vita version?
I have got the Vita version, but not yet. No, I have a lot of games that I need to get through.
It just
dating
plays
back for
really
years.
well for a Vita game, for a first-person shooter Vita game.
Yeah, that is one of the harder things.
And speaking of a Vita game gone wild, Gravity Rush 2.
A Vita game gone wild. That's just the one where the screenshot is some half-naked chick.
Yeah, I mean that was was an accident, but I could definitely see where I was going with it.
I just don't like I just don't like the fact that when gaming's trying to be mature, it advertises the game with a half-naked chick.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be the way to go, but
show gameplay,
it's
not
a way to go.
you know.
It's either that or weapons, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was looking at Uncharted 4 though. That's
What about it?
It's Uncharted 4. Just the fact that somebody's finally showed off some more Uncharted 4.
Yeah.
I keep hearing about it, but he is like, yeah, I know it's coming at some point, but what have you got of it? Nothing? Okay, fine, cool, whatever.
I mean, it's nearly here now.
Yeah, I know,
Surely,
but
I mean, it's got to be one of those games that you would like to play. I appreciate that you can't because you've chosen the PC route.
I'll get a PS4 eventually. It's fine. I played Uncharted 1, and I've got around to 2 or 3, although I do have them. But I wasn't hugely impressed. I didn't see the hype people are going on about. It was fun, yeah, it was definitely good. Very Tomb Raider-esque. But it wasn't the mind-blowing thing that everybody had said it was. I imagine 2's better because everybody was saying Uncharted 2's much better, much deeper. I just thought it was a bit shallow. You know,
Yeah, I mean, if
it's like jump here, shoot that.
Yeah, if I can kind of echo what you were saying there, Uncharted 2 is so much better.
I will get around to playing it eventually.
So much better.
So much.
And it plays so well, and just everything about it is tight and well thought through, and goddamn gorgeous for a PlayStation 3 game. I haven't played the Nathan Drake collection. I would like to.
That's just the first, second, and third, isn't it?
Yeah, that's all 3 games in one.
Yeah.
But all 1080p prettiness.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, that's one of the things. It did look pretty, even for its time on the PS3. But before we run out of time, I'll tell you what is pretty damn awesome looking. Mewtwo.
Golden Joystick.
No. Mewtwo.
Okay.
In
Yeah.
Pokken. Dark Mewtwo. Look fucking awesome.
Yeah, weird as well. I don't know what the point is.
I'm actually looking. I'm actually looking forward to this fighting game now. Surprisingly enough, I'm not a big one for fighting games, but
Yeah, and you're not a big one on Pokemon games
no,
or Nintendo games at all.
yeah, this could be. I'm kind of interesting. I'm kind of interesting. I'm kind of interested.
Hmm.
It's up to
Yeah,
other
I mean,
people whether I'm
it looks
interesting or not.
interesting. And I'd like to know the story behind it because it doesn't necessarily make any sense why there'd be another form of Mewtwo. There are already three.
Well, doesn't need to make sense. It's Pokemon. I just love the fact that Mewtwo in itself he was pretty dark in the first instance.
Hmm.
So to have a dark Mewtwo, that's just cool. I don't know.
Think about Mewtwo in comparison to every other Pokemon ever. Was that he was an interesting character in and of himself.
Yeah.
He was a clone, and he didn't understand why he'd been created. He
Yeah.
didn't have a place in the world, and so he wanted to make his own place in the world, even if that was a negative to the humans. He was a deep character. He was an interesting character, and he had some thought processes going on.
Well, that's half the
Just what the fuck is Dark Mewtwo? Really?
I don't know. Maybe Dark Mewtwo is Mewtwo having achieved that, and he's like a complete badass now. I just think he looks cool. Leave me alone.
Yeah, I suppose so. Also, though, have you seen Detroit? Detroit Become Human.
Hey?
Please tell me you've watched that demo. The trailer, sorry.
No.
Oh my god. Honestly, that was the sound of me spurting my hot news juice. It
Oh no,
looks
not the
amazing.
return of the hot news juice.
Oh, every week.
Every week.
So it's made by Quantic Dreams, David Cage. So you know what's going to
him,
happen anyway.
yes.
You know what kind of thing you're looking at. You're looking at freaky-looking humans that
So what's
are
it called?
incredibly pretty
Detroit?
for whatever console they're on. And it's... Do you remember the Kara demo that came out a while ago?
Yeah.
The kind of android that started to gain consciousness.
So wait, what's it called? Detroit.
Just search for Detroit, I think. I think it's Detroit Becoming Human. But
I'm just going to get a lot of stuff with. Hey, we are in Detroit.
What?
I don't.
So
the city.
Do you remember the Kara demo at all?
Yes.
Yeah, with the android gaining consciousness. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's that they've carried that on. They've made something out of it.
Oh right. Okay.
But it looks even prettier. And essentially, this android is trying to become free in a world in which androids are despised, and real humans. I don't know. They're androidish. They're androidish.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, racist against androids.
Yeah.
The idea is interesting, but it's not exactly new.
Oh no, not at all. But just look at how pretty.
Oh yeah, but that's not the thing. Nobody's in question that nobody's questioning the fact that Quantic Dream games are pretty, but they can be because they basically don't have to be a game per se. They are set scenes that you do stuff in.
Yeah, it's a playable story.
Yeah, I mean I've got nothing against that. I'm just saying like if the fact that it's not an open world or anything, they can constrain what they're designing, what you look at basically, so they can make everything look nicer. They can just up everything.
You mean that they understand their gameplay, and as such they create a game that is suitably graphically intensive for that?
Yeah, basically, if you want to be fancy talky.
Well, no, I just mean if we want to go full circle on this. 343 did nothing of the sort.
Yeah.
There we go. See,
like I say, it does look pretty, but then again, Beyond Two Souls was graphically unpaired for its time, and Heavy Rain too. But
Heavy Rain was good. Beyond Two Souls was dire, but
I'm not talking about the actual gameplay. I'm talking about the graphics.
Oh yeah, they were fantastic for the time, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I mean, if anybody hasn't watched the Kara demo, I'd recommend watching that first because it's absolutely gorgeous anyway, even though it's PS3 era. But it's I don't know, there was something heartbreaking about it, and to think that this might be carried on in Detroit, they got the emotion perfect in that. In an industry where emotion is hard to come by, they really pinpointed it.
It's just very Asimov, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And if they can capture any of that, then that'd be great.
I just keep getting the iRobot kind of vibe.
I suppose so. I can see that.
That's probably what it's based off anyway. So, well, like I say, the game, whether it's good gameplay, that's to be seen. People tend to have a problem with David Cage games being lackluster in their gameplay and story and stuff, but nobody can really fault the graphics, and that's all we can really say at the moment. So, yeah, that's my 2 cents on that.
Fair enough. And I think we're about done in terms of time as well.
Indeed, we are.
So that's been another week of the Rational Gamers weekly webcast. I hope you've had fun. I hope you've enjoyed my weekly news juice.
God damn it.
Sorry.
Why? No news juice. No news juice. Stay tuned next week for more of Marty's wonderful news juice.
Yeah.
I feel dirty just saying it.
Yeah, and hopefully something interesting happens for next week as well, because I'm not sure what's actually kind of due to happen in this next week. I don't know. I'm sure the game industry will fuck up in some way.
Well, Fallout 4 will be ever closer to release.
There have been some
Fallout
screenshots leaked.
Fallout 4 will be 1 day away from the release next week. I'm excited. Yeah. We'll get to that next week, though.
Yep, definitely. I'm just looking through these leaked screenshots. Yeah, I know what's going to happen now.
But I'm not looking at them. I don't want to know what happens, so shut up.
To be fair, it doesn't look like there's anything to actually tell you what happens. It just looks like it just looks like some interesting screenshots. I don't know. They look pretty, I can tell you that much. Other than the dog. The dog looks crap.
Well, not every dog can be Black Ops 2 level of dogness, can it?
True. Anyway, it was nice talking to you.
See you next time, guys.
See you guys. Thanks very much for tuning in.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.